You have bought Bitcoin at the bottom as well as toward the top. And so I'm just curious from your own experience, what lessons can you share from all of your experience with risk management?
Well, I think one of the lessons is you have to separate your P&L from your balance sheet. So if the way that you're making money is and Ross's letter, he points out that they make money with 10 different strategies. One of them is Bitcoin. The other 9 strategies are firmly grounded in the conventional economy of the world. So if you're a doctor, you stay a doctor, you're the best doctor you can be, you serve your patients the best, and you maximize your income as a doctor. And then on your balance sheet, you have assets, and on your balance sheet you would have a variety of assets. Whatever property you're going to hold for a long period of time.
Hi, I'm Crypto Positive. If you like this video, please smash like and don't forget to leave a comment in the comments section below. Thanks and enjoy the video.
You could have a diversified portfolio of property of digital property like Bitcoin, and you might very well hold real estate, and you might own a share in a company, right? But separate your balance sheet from your P&L. At MicroStrategy, we have a traditional enterprise software company, and we keep 99% of our employees focused upon that business, which generates substantial cash flows. And that's what allows us to pursue our Bitcoin strategy by sweeping those cash flows into Bitcoin in a form of corporate dollar cost averaging. I think where things get dangerous, which is what happened with FTX, is all of a sudden the way they make money is also their balance sheet strategy. Yeah. And if you're going to have a balance sheet with a bunch of FTT token, and then you're going to use it as collateral to borrow against it to generate yield, when the token collapses, the P&L collapses, and vice versa, and the entire thing becomes a house of cards.
Seems so obvious too.
Hindsight is always 20/20, and then of course, to the extent that you actually take on any debt, you generally want to take debt that is secured against assets that don't get marked to market. Like the best form of debt is I have a mortgage against a house, and the bank's not going to show up at my door and value my house down by 80% on Monday and then ask me to repay the mortgage on Tuesday. Right? But, use common sense, right? If you were to borrow against a stock, like a liquid asset like Apple stock or S&P index, or even against Bitcoin, you want to be ready for 80% drawdown. And most conventional risk managers, they would, for example, they would never advance more than 50% loan to value. And then when you get close to that, you would think, okay, well, now I got to be ready for a 50% drop from here. Mm-hmm. And so if you have a very conservative view, right, on liquid assets, you would say you never want to go beyond 20% loan to value on a liquid asset, even if you think it's rock solid. Of course, if you're borrowing against a token printed out of thin air, right, like FTT, well, that can go to zero overnight because there's nothing backing it. So I think be conservative with the way that you use debt. Be rational and thoughtful in how you distribute your balance sheet. And then on the P&L side, figure out what it is you can do that is making a unique contribution to the world. And if you're the world's best bakery on this city block, that's what you do. And if you're a doctor or a dentist, that's what you do. And just make sure you do that thing. And if you're in a currency like a very weak developing nation currency where it's collapsing at 100%, 100% inflation a year or more, you're sweeping your local proceeds, into a combination of dollars that you're going to hold for 12 months, and then Bitcoin that you're going to hold for 12 years, right? And if you think in terms of your long range asset, your short range asset, and your immediate currency, then I think you'll probably be in good stead.
It seems to so many of us that a lot of your purpose now has to do with Bitcoin education. Is there anything that keeps you up at night?
I think we need to educate a lot more people. What keeps me up at night is that there are so many mainstream influencers, so many policy makers, so many investors and money managers that still don't understand half an hour or an hour worth of Bitcoin fundamentals. But the world is still full of incredible numbers of people at every level, from the top ranks of our government to leaders, captains of industry, down to rank and file. The world's full of people that don't understand the theory of money. They don't understand what money is, right? They would say, oh, money is a medium of exchange. Okay, so therefore I guess the peso is just as good as the dollar, is just as good as Bitcoin, just, because they're all just mediums of exchange to somebody, right? And so the lack of awareness of the theory of money, that's something that keeps you up at night. The world is full of people that don't understand the power of an open, permissionless monetary network, right? The fact that you can move $1 million from here to Africa and you could do it in an open rail, and then you could do it 1 million times cheaper than the conventional 20th century banking system, and you could do it 1 million times better, and then you could program it 1 million times faster. So most people, they don't realize that money is technology. They don't really understand what true non-defective money is, because every monetary system in the history of the world has collapsed, and every money that's ever been invented before Bitcoin was objectively defective mathematically and physically. And so because people don't have that fundamental understanding of the physics of money, and they don't understand that money is technology, they're not looking for the solution. They have this massive blind spot. But they do have power, right? The world is full of people with money, with power, and with influence that are ignorant of these two basic principles. And the first principle explains to you why you would want to own Bitcoin. And the second principle explains to you why the future is 8 billion people with devices plugging in via the Lightning protocol to each other to trade and to run the economy of the 21st century. So we have to go and educate those leaders so that they embrace and adopt this physically perfected money and this ethical open network.
Пустой зал, ожидание вокзала. Стою и смотрю куда-то в сторону перрона.